Hello and welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Monday, June 14th. Thanks for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. There were multiple reports of gun violence over the weekend, but we'll start with one particularly shocking story out of Wayne County. One person has been killed and several others have been injured following a shooting at Dragway 42, which is a racetrack in Wayne County. The Wayne County Sheriff's Office says that there was a person who was seen by witnesses driving recklessly in a pickup truck, kicking up gravel that was landing on other vehicles, and that the situation escalated when people confronted the driver. This is according to authorities, and that driver later pulled a gun and opened fire with bullets hitting two brothers. Captain Douglas Hunter of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office says all four of the people injured are from the Cleveland area. The two brothers were taken to a hospital in Lodi, including the man who died. The other person who was transported has injuries that authorities say don't appear to be life-threatening. Captain Douglas Hunter says that another person started shooting at the suspect during the confrontation, and the original gunman fled the scene. His current whereabouts are not known, but he is not believed to be the owner of the vehicle that he was driving. So anyone with information about this is asked to contact the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. At this time, no additional information is available, but this is a developing story, so we will keep you updated as we learn more. Now, it was a pretty scary weekend at Cedar Point for some people who were on the GateKeeper roller coaster. The attraction closed after a malfunction, and it's closed until further notice. Park spokesperson Tony Clark said that it was on Saturday when a train on the GateKeeper stopped on the lift hill. He said what happened was the lift chain became separated. He said that the ride's safety system did what it was supposed to do and ended up with the guests escorted safely off of the ride. You can see pictures that were shared on social media, which we have linked on WKYC.com, where the riders are walking down a staircase next to the lift hill. Now, the GateKeeper is near Cedar Point's main entrance. It first opened in 2013, again closed until further notice. We do have a video of what that ride is like from the front seat if you want to see what those people were looking at, their view as they went up that lift and the ride suddenly stopped before they had to come down the stairs next to the ride. Now, the topic for my 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast this week is something that we're hearing a lot about lately. It's cryptocurrency. And if it's confusing to you, you definitely are not alone. So I brought in some experts to give us all a little primer on it. We talk about Bitcoin, we talk about Ethereum and Dogecoin. These are some of the big trending names that we hear in the cryptocurrency space. We also talk about the environmental controversy around cryptocurrency and some of the things like the blockchain. If you've heard that word, we get into what that means, and also what cryptocurrency has to do with those NFTs and what those are, those non-fungible tokens that are such a big deal right now, and get a little bit of insight into why people have those laser eyes profile pictures on Twitter. Yes, I am talking about Tom Brady, among other people. So we talk all about that, and we also talk about what you need to know in NEO if you want to start dabbling in the Bitcoin space, how you could do that pretty easily, and who is a particularly good follow here in Northeast Ohio if you're interested in the cryptocurrency space. So you can find that at WKYC.com/3 Things to Know, or you can just search for 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney wherever you get your podcasts. We have an update today from the Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. He says that the state has reached a settlement with Centene. This is a healthcare giant. They'll be paying the state of Ohio $88.3 million. Now, this is because of a lawsuit that was filed earlier this year alleging that this pharmacy benefit manager, or PBM, was double charging the Ohio Department of Medicaid. Now, PBMs, like this company, these are third-party entities, and they manage healthcare plans. In this case, they were managing a Medicaid healthcare plan. They act as the middle person between the person with insurance, so me or you, and the insurer or the pharmaceutical company. PBMs also play a big part in determining the cost of medicines and the cost of coverage. The biggest PBM in Ohio is CVS Caremark. That runs 4 of the 5 Ohio Medicaid managed care plans, but we're talking about Centene here, just to give you a little context. Centene is the same type of company as CVS Caremark. Now, part of this settlement, Centene did not admit any fault. That is typical in these situations. But what the settlement does do is it includes a most favored nation clause, because this isn't just happening in Ohio. Ohio's payment from Centene could go up based on any settlements the company makes with other states. In addition to Ohio, Centene also announced a settlement with Mississippi today. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 cases around the world, the U.S. and here in Ohio. These first numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, there have been a total of 176,057,166 reported COVID-19 cases. In the U.S., we have 19% of those cases, with 33,466,835. Globally, there have been 3,805,828 reported COVID-19 deaths. In the U.S., we have 15.8% of those deaths. That number now at 599,860, so very, very close to 600,000. Here in Ohio, the Ohio Department of Health reports 178 new COVID-19 cases in the last day. Remember, we typically see this number lower on a Monday. We've seen 52 new hospitalizations in the last day, and right now 387 people are currently hospitalized being treated for COVID-19. Out of those people, 110 are being treated in the intensive care unit, and we've seen 14 new ICU admissions in the last day. Close to 9,000 people in the last day have become completely vaccinated here in the state of Ohio. That's more than 42% of our population and more than 4.9 million people. And almost 3,000 people in the last day have started the vaccination process. That's close to 47%, and about 5.5 million, or very near 5.5 million. Now, one of the goals of people getting vaccinated here in Ohio was for things to open up, and that was very successful this weekend for Playhouse Square when it brought back the Choir of Man. So successful, in fact, that the show The Choir of Man is extending for 2 additional weeks. They announced it today, and after an opening night performance over the weekend, the show's cast announced the extension, and then they led the audience out of the theater to Euclid Avenue for an encore performance under the GE chandelier. How cool would that be? Now, the Choir of Man is a unique show. It's kind of a working pub situation. The people who perform on the stage are actually pulling pints from actual kegs, and the audience members are invited to participate in a variety of ways, getting very up close and personal. You can actually be seated on the stage in some instances. It's a quite fun show from everything that I've heard about it. So now it will run through July 25th. Tickets range between $59 and $79. We've got the link to buy those on WKYC.com. There's also a number to call, 216-241-6000, if you want to buy tickets over the phone. Now, for the performances through July 11th, because those tickets were previously sold, those will be the limited capacity, and seating will be sold in those pods of 1 through 6 seats per performance. But after July 11th, seating capacity will still be limited, but they won't be sold in those socially distanced pods. So they'll have a little bit more flexibility with what they do there with that limited seating capacity. But running 2 more weeks now through July 25th. Over the weekend, it was also the return of Jarvis Landry's celebrity softball game. It was in Eastlake, and there was quite the crowd there. There were about 7,000 people there, and a lot of them were wearing brown and orange because Jarvis Landry's team was made up of mostly current Cleveland Browns players, and one past Cleveland Browns player, at least Bernie Kosar, was there as well. Some of the other people on the team: quarterback Baker Mayfield, defensive end Myles Garrett, receiver Odell Beckham Jr., running back Kareem Hunt, who is also from Lake County, and the Kansas City Chiefs Pro Bowl player and Cleveland Heights native Travis Kelce headed up the opposition with several other players and musicians on those teams. Kelce said it was weird because he was home, but he was very much still in enemy territory, talking about the rivalry between the Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs, which, by the way, is this season's opener on the road in Kansas City. In the game, Myles Garrett belted out a homer, and Landry's team won 22-7, so not exactly a close game there. There was also a home run derby before the game, and ended up coming down to Baker Mayfield and Landry's agent, Demarius Bilbo. They ended up tying to win that home run derby. Proceeds from this event benefit both the Lake Health Foundation and the Jarvis Landry Building Winners Foundation. Speaking of former Cleveland Browns, former quarterback Johnny Manziel is now pursuing a professional golf career. It's been more than 6 years since he had his last snap in an NFL game. He also played in the CFL, the AAF, and the FCF, that fan-controlled football league. Very interesting there. But now, in an interview for Esquire, he's talking about his dedication to playing professional golf. He was on a podcast earlier this year as well, and he said at that point he's giving himself until the age of 40 to make the PGA Tour. He's 28 years old now, so he's got 12 years to do it. And he is living in Scottsdale, Arizona, and playing 18 holes of golf per week. He says that golf has brought him freedom, has brought him peace, and has brought competition back into his life. And he says he's in a much better place than he was when he was playing football. If you remember, his personal life was definitely littered with struggles when he was playing here in Cleveland. He says now he's been watching himself, and even if he goes out late, stays up late, drinks alcohol, if he gets up, even if he's tired, he still makes it to the golf tee. And he said that was not always the case when he was playing football. He says that he goes out and plays every day though now, and he loves it. So we will be watching what happens with Johnny Football, who is now Johnny Golfer. I don't know, it doesn't really have quite the same ring to it, but in any case, good luck to you, Johnny, and we'll see what happens with your professional golf career. That's it for 3 News Now, your update for Monday, June 14th. I'll see you next up on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.